is there even a left really left in American politics these days? Even someone like Bernie Sanders, is he really the most radically left one we have?
Well, in America, I think that's the most left wing we can get. I don't think because the thing, I mean, we're not like, 1930s China, like Mao running around the countryside getting farmers to join the peasant rebellion on Washington or anything. It feels like if we're going to have real left leadership, it has to come from the top down, unfortunately. It's very antithetical to how left organization has happened in the past, but we saw what happened with Occupy Wall Street, you know? We see what happens now that I'll put it this way, okay? Bernie Sanders lost 2020, and I felt like half of the online left killed themselves, like the hour after that happened, okay? This is not a movement that's capable of sustaining itself without centralized leadership. And I don't mean that in some weird authoritarian way. I just mean we need like a leader who represents our values that people can organize around. The problem is, it looks like at the moment, the Justice Dems aren't capable of fulfilling that role. They do good work, and I respect them for the work that they do, but they're in the sauce a little bit too much, it seems. They're politicians, not activists, which means that their behavior and their language is going to have to be muted somewhat by the necessities of their work. And I think that's fine. That's part of their job. But we need an activist. We need some ostentatiously charismatic person or group of people who can centralize left-leaning organization. The right has this. There are dozens of petty dictators in the Republican Party vying for control, with Trump obviously being the most prominent of them. But when Trump dies, somebody else will be the next, grand poobah. But over on the left, Bernie will die sometime in the next decade, probably, and it's going to really suck. But, like, where do we go from there? Who's the next big person to step up, It can't be one of the existing politicians. Bernie Sanders was able to do what he did specifically because he wasn't a longtime Democrat. His history as an independent legitimized him significantly as somebody able to reach across the aisle. So where do you go from there? Like, I genuinely do not know. And what type of leader is it going to be? Is it going to be someone like AOC, Is it going to be like a young, peppy, like Democrat entryist type leader? Is it going to be somebody outside the system entirely, like a media organizer? Is it going to be some guilty multimillionaire who decides to commit their life towards a socialist cause? I genuinely do not know. But we need something like that, because unfortunately, I just don't think the material conditions are ripe for decentralized organization. Not at a national level. Not right now. Does that make sense? At Occupy Wall Street, because I remember seeing this video footage back when it was going on. I was just a kid, at the time, but the reporters would go up to Occupy Wall Street protesters and ask them, what are you doing here? What are your goals? Name 5 things you want done. These are easy questions for an activist to answer, but they didn't have those answers. A lot of the people there were just sort of generally angry against wealthy people after the financial crash, or the financial crisis, the housing market crash. And that's fine. It's good to be angry at rich people, but it's all a huge optics game. Now, you take a look at the Black Panther Party, They got plenty of media attention. Reporter goes up to the Black Panther Party. You know what answers they get? They either get, sorry, I don't talk to media, or they get a perfectly rehearsed and concise explanation of everything they wanted, like that, with the discipline of a soldier. Now, the Black Panther Party commanded a wildly disproportionate amount of media attention and power relative to their size. There weren't that many Black Panther Party members. It wasn't like BLM, like millions of people were part of BLM, The height of the Black Panther Party, I think they were like in the low 5 digits. Wait, actually, let me check. Black Panther Party membership, about 5,000 people. 5,000 people! We have more than that watching the live stream right now. And with fewer people than the current audience of this live stream, they were able to command the attention of the nation, do unbelievable on-the-ground work. They weren't a perfect organization, but there are certainly benefits to sort of a rigorous and disciplined, approach towards political advocacy. The problem is, like, if you're going that strict, though, and they were strict, you can't really have 10 million people in your party. You can't distribute that much discipline across that large of a group. So what's the answer? Do you have a ton of little Black Panther parties disciplined all over the place? Do you accept a lower level of discipline for a greater degree of participation? Or, and this is what I would like to see, I mean, this is my dream, if we had real control of the airwaves, I mean, if there was some foothold we could get, real mainstream media attention, the kind of stuff Bernie Sanders was able to command back during both of his primaries, and turn that into a well-organized movement, Here is what you want. Here are your talking points. We need to participate. We need to protest. We need to do this and that. Of course, he was limited by being a politician, because if there was ever any violence at a protest that he organized, then he would be held responsible for it, and that would have been used against him to great effect. So he didn't directly organize anything. He just had his campaign rallies, which are an accepted and expected type of organization for a campaigner. This is why activists and politicians have different jobs, Anyway, there's a lot to dream about, but